I was sitting all alone in my library chair when I found a book and it gave me a scare. The pages I kept turning, it quite took me in. What was it? Oh, where do I begin? We read the monsters. I read the monsters next door. The monsters. It had short stories galore. The monsters. It's full of horror and gore. The monsters. I read the monsters next door.
Once upon a modern time in a little cul-de-sac, black characters from myth and rhyme decided to come back. They moved into a cuter house, they bought a boat and car, they got a job, they got a spouse, they're ready to go far. This modern life, with all its strife, is wilder than before. You won't forget the day you met the fables next door. You won't forget the day you met the fables next door.
There's more I could have played, but this isn't a clip show of trailers. I could have played the 2-minute long The Devil You Know Best trailer, which I absolutely love, but it is 2 minutes long. So my video making skills were even less than they are now when that one was made. So good evening. Hi, I'm RJ Carter. I'm the publisher here at Critical Blast Publishing. I know my intro is usually longer than that, but tonight we're specifically talking about Critical Blast Publishing. And with me, I have my friend and partner, George Peter Gatzis. George, how are you this good evening?
Greetings. I'm okay. I'm feeling a little under the weather or above the weather.
Well, are you in Australia?
No. It's just, outside is sun.
Okay. Yeah. You didn't get the potato chip, did you?
No.
Okay. And joining us is interested party Chris Bacon. Chris, how things going, man?
Good. Appreciate the invite.
Well,
I'm not exactly sure why I'm here, but George requested my presence, so who am I to say no?
Yeah, well, you were kind enough to let us on your show last night and talk about some of this. So,
it's not my show. Just to.
It was Jessica's.
Jessica's show. Well, you were there.
I was there. I was in fact there.
So people have heard a little bit about this gaping hole in the industry that existed, and apparently still existed after we were doing it for a while, but we won't go there. About how to keep your crowdfunder alive. Remember, a crowdfunder is supposed to get you into business, and then you go off and do your business. It wasn't meant to be the eBay of everything you do after that, but we're going to try and help with that, and we have been helping with that with Critical Blast Publishing, and we're going to kind of walk through the history of what we've done and how long we've been doing it, so that people can kind of get a comfort level with our competence on the thing.
Yeah, you think I should send Eric July a tweet about the show?
Sure. If he hasn't got you blocked, he's got me blocked. You might not be able to see the tweet. Competition is good, and everyone can learn from everybody. Something. I don't know what, but they can. So my history with publishing began with me being an author. I've had books picked up by Telos Publishing in the UK. I wrote 2 books for them. I wrote 3 books for Destroyer Books, the people who published the Remo Williams adventures. So I know the business from a firsthand experience. And as Critical Blast was just starting to develop, it had been a website for a couple of years doing reviews and doing these podcast things. I wanted to branch out and do more with the creative people and get into the publishing side of things. And our very first effort with that was this modest little anthology book, Gods and Services, which was an idea I had for a theme where, there's a little pop-up shop. It's like Needful Things. It sells knickknacks and things that have a god attached to them, an out-of-work god specifically. He hasn't had an offering in thousands of years. People have forgotten him or her. And by buying this from the store, the god is now indebted to you to make your life better in, of course, the opinion of the god, not necessarily you. So it was, some horror, some comedy. It was a fun exercise, and in fact, it's so fun we're revisiting it right now with Gods and Services' new location, which is going to be our new anthology book. Um, you'll know some of the names who were in here, but it was small. It was modest effort, 10 stories, and it got us on the road. We didn't just take off from there. I mean, it wasn't like an overnight success story. We did do one more novel after that, and that was Stephen J. Mitchell's Bulletproof. This looks like a superhero graphic novel. It is not. It's a text novel, and it's about a kid who's sort of like Philip Wiley's Gladiator. He wakes up 16 years old and finds out that on that day he has become pretty much invulnerable. He's bulletproof. But the twist is that he's also very ADD. He has the attention span of a squirrel on pixie sticks, and he needs his friends to help him stay focused. So he's got two friends. He got his girlfriend, and of course, his genius nerd friend. They're both in high school, and they're trying to keep him on task so that he doesn't get captured by the terrorists, who very much want to know why he's bulletproof and how can they replicate it for themselves. And that was like a full year. We just did those two books. We did one more book after that, which was another anthology of horror stories, The Devil You Know. And then COVID hit, and we did nothing, which was ironic because I had nothing else to do but stay home. But it was during that year that we sort of kind of got the logistics business burgeoning as an idea. And we wanted to do more books, and we were planning more books. And that's when I started talking with George. George had come onto our streams before promoting his books, and we just kind of we stayed in touch. George was
RJ contacted me. He goes, I think I'm gonna be shipping stuff out for people.
yeah.
Do you have any ideas about shipping? This is what I'm doing right now. What's your thoughts? And I said, all right, here's a list. Here's a very comprehensive list of things that you have to do, place you have to call, people you have to get in touch with, and like RJ listened to me.
Well, no, and of course I did none of that. But
no, he didn't. He did none of it. He did all of it.
Yeah, George was my sounding board for everything that kicked off Critical Blast Logistics. The idea was there. I was like, what am I missing here? Because it sounds too simple. And it turned out I was missing a lot. And then George was pretty much with me every step of the way when we did our second Devil You Know anthology, The Devil You Know Better, and helped with the layout of that. And I was like, oh, you can lay out books. I could use that talent because I was always having to seek somebody out at the last minute saying, hey, something's wrong with my layout. You've done this. Can you help me? So now I had somebody talented on the hook, so to speak. It wasn't going anywhere.
It was barely an inconvenience.
That's what he said. So I took him at his word and said,
oh, by the way, I was the knowledge that I had. One of my talent stacks is that I worked in marketing and advertising. And the one thing that we did so well, and I came to understand so well, is fulfillment. Contacting the Postmaster General, a whole lot of stuff that has to do with mailing stuff in large format advertising agencies, marketing agencies, and RJ's utilizing all that knowledge so well in the logistics part.
Well, and then in the publishing part, because I found out that George is actually talented. So everybody's familiar with the joking avatar. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, that's that very cartoon child show style. That's George." And then I saw George's art, which many of you have not seen, and I saw how proficient he was at producing it, and I was like, we don't have to wait for somebody to write something. There are people who've already written these books that can't stop us from publishing them. Like, the Brothers Grimm. And that's really, really what was the watershed moment for Critical Blast Publishing, was this collaboration with George and I on doing this Brothers Grimm book. This is
pull back.
Pull back. It's
There you go.
a big boy. It's a big baby.
Yeah. Show the spines. Show the thickness.
This is family Bible sized thickness. This is the complete illustrated fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm. This is 540 pages. This is over 350 illustrations in full color, all throughout the book. Every story got a full page starter illustration, and then throughout they would get spot illustrations. And there is a reason why you're going to be interested in this, people. This is just giving you the backstory of where we got started. We were doing crazy things like having the story be told with the pictures across the page. You can see the guy chasing his hat with the text surrounding it here. And this was pretty much proof of concept for how quickly we could put a book out. Now I say quickly, this book took us, 6 months, George?
No, barely a few weeks.
Oh no! Let's not lie about this book. This book was a chore, but it was a labor of love. Because a lot of it was.
Yeah, we didn't pay much attention to the book. I mean, like on a full-time basis.
No, it was because you were doing a lot of work at the same time on Immortal Mask. With Denali's comics, and we'd hash out, say, this is what I really want to see happening here, and then George would go and make it happen. So I want to see the dragon attacking this ship. We'll have the words go around. So there, he's breathing fire across the actual story. The only problem with this book was that because it was so big and because it was so beautifully illustrated and handled, it's also a pricey book.
It's the only Grimm's fairy tale book with numerous illustrations in it. Everybody else is just black and white. That's it, done.
They don't have nearly as much as we've got.
Yeah,
and this is where George changed the direction of the industry that we were forming here. When he said, we could put it out in a cheaper format. And people could buy that, and now we've got the same story.
Yeah. Funny story is, RJ said, "No, that's impossible. No, I don't have the time for it. No, it's like that's crazy thinking."
George had to drag me kicking and screaming into doing this.
Yeah, I did, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it, and we'll loop back in a week.
I said, it's not square. How can that possibly work? We don't have. I have learned. Also,
that format is 100 pages less, and it has the same content and the same number of illustrations.
Yeah, it was magic. There was an old 1940s radio serial that was about a PI for hire, and I've learned to just take the title of that as my motto, and that show was called Let George Do It. So anytime that I think something's impossible and George has got the idea, I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to say, let George do it, and he's always come through for us.
Chris, do you have any thoughts about this so far?
Yeah, because I'm running out of breath.
Oh, not particularly. I mean, I'm not too familiar with what you guys do, so just listening and hearing about it.
Oh, well, after we got the Grimms out, we decided to put those illustration skills to a new kind of test. We were going to do something that hadn't been done before. Now, we've been doing the anthologies, and we've been known for that, and people were actually starting to respond for an idea of scale. When I did Gods and Services, it was a struggle to get 10 good stories in. Fortunately, I knew people in the book industry because I'd been doing the reviews for websites before, and I knew these people, and I could approach them and say, hey, would you mind, helping a small publisher out? It's a pittance of a pay, but and they all did. By the time something like The Monsters Next Door came out, we were inundated with stories for this. Nearly gave one of our slush readers a nervous breakdown because he was reading every single thing that came in. I had to say, dude, if it's no good in 3 paragraphs, stop. He's like, oh, thank you, because it was really wearing him down, and I didn't want to be responsible for that. But when we did The Monsters Next Door, again, brainstorming with George, because RJ's like, it's an anthology. We just put the stories in order and publish it, and bang zoom, Bob's your uncle. Away we go. George's like, why don't we do something that no one's ever done before? Why don't we give every story its own comic book cover? And then, we'll just turn the page and we'll put fake ads on the backside, like monster comic book ads. Like, what would monsters see if they were publishing comic books? And then we just start the story. How bad did I push back on that, George?
It was not much. Yes. Okay. I barely remember it because it was really exciting, breaking new ground.
And it was so long ago, being what, 2 years? Has it really been 2 years since we did The Monsters Next Door?
It's something like that, yeah.
It can't have been that long. But when we do a book like this, we always have a launch party with all the authors. And when we started showing them what the book was like, the response was devastatingly powerful from the authors. And it still happens to this day when we do a live and we start showing this, and they don't know what to expect, because there have been tears of joy shed from us. Like, oh my God, my story's illustrated. That's the kind of things we're starting to do now. So here's Evan Bauman's Man on Porch, and there's this scene from the story that we've illustrated. And when we did all the way through it, and that became sort of our new standard for our anthologies going forward. Except for stuff we'd already started, like when we finished The Devil You Know Best. Again, this was just flat out, lay it out, make it look nice, and off we go to print. But then we said, The Monsters Next Door was so fun. Let's do The Fables Next Door. Now, yes, this was inspired by the fact that Bill Willingham had thrown Fables into the public domain, and DC was having a fight with him, and we were like, how can we poke that bear? So we poked that bear by calling the book The Fables Next Door, having it be your fairy tale characters living next door, and by, of course, getting Mr. Willingham to be one of the contributors to the book. But as you see,
it was a complete coincidence, by the way.
Complete coincidence. Yeah. But we also upped it a notch. Now, this might have been a bad idea, but we decided to do the covers in full color. So all the stories now have not only a full color cover, but they also would end up with, much like the Grimm fairy tale book we did, a spot illustration in the middle of the story, showing a story element.
As well as the advertising.
As well as the advertising.
Yeah,
this time
show that stuff.
Yeah, this time it was what if you were a Fable character, and these were the comic books that Fable characters would read. So, all out of the mind of George. Now, I want to take a step back here for a minute, because we have a chat going on here. We have one person in chat. I know we've got more people watching than that. Who invited this guy? Hey, Denali.
Hey, RJ.
How's it going?
And the reason why Denali's here is where is that book?
I don't have it in hand here. Because
Do you have a copy of Denali's book?
Not on this shelf. This shelf is reserved for books published by Critical Blast.
Okay. Hold on a sec. I think I got it. I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Let me show my screen.
All right, show George's stream.
All right.
Gotcha.
There we go. All right. So while we were doing Brothers Grimm,
Yes.
I was also doing the Immortal Mask, and the Immortal Mask, yeah, it is the first book in terms of doing a test that ended up being perfect 10. And the beauty about the Immortal Mask, which will be going crowdfunding soon, is that it's got three stories in here, three different stories. The 1930s
30s.
Immortal Mask, the 1970s Immortal Mask, and
The 1850s.
the 1850s Immortal Mask. But the wonderful thing is, just like what RJ showed off with the Monsters Next Door and the Fables Next Door, is that there's also spot concepts, which, oh my gosh, is so big. There we go. The Immortal Mask has its own comic book covers inside the comic book, which actually is part of the narrative in the 1970s. So you see this as a full page, but you'll discover this inside in one of the panels in the story. So it actually adds more to the story. But here's the great thing about this Immortal Mask, which people will be thrilled to get when it goes to crowdfunding. It's got a master class in how to get a comic book done. The master class here is that you have the script, you have the thumbnails, you have the pencils, inks, and then you have the full color. So it's not just one example; it's multitude of examples here. So if you ever wonder how to make a comic book, you ever wonder how you go from a script to a final product, it's all here. Notes, everything is explained here. It's absolutely spectacular. Literally a master class, just like Perfect 10. But it's even better that there's also a section before the script where you actually see some of the key illustrations in the book, how they were actually put together. Sketch, computer technology, merge of sketch, computer technology, painting with computer technology, and then final. But that's not all. Let's flip.
But that's not all you get. There's more.
There's absolutely more. Let me flip here and let's see.
That has to be a poster, by the way.
I know, but it's a page in the book.
No, I mean when you crowdfund, it has to be a poster.
Oh, I think we have it on Denelli's website. Okay.
Full size 24-36 slick gloss.
Give me a sec. I got my fingers are dry and I can't flip. Oh, actually, this is the page I was looking for. All right.
You didn't spit take on my mic.
Yeah. Here's 9 panels on the Denelli. Brent Benson here has been absolute slave driver.
Yes.
When it came to producing this book, every minute detail, every panel, he sweated over the last 4 years to produce this. How? Well, look at this. You start off with a sketch. Then there's the 3D model that I did. Then the sketch and the 3D model together, so we know what it looks like. Then flat colors, and then I went to the painter. And went to an actual painter, and he came back with the painted illustration. But it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough chains, so I had to 3D model a whole lot of chains.
Yeah, I wasn't satisfied with it.
Yeah,
and I said, no, we can do more.
Yeah, and then Denelli wanted smoke effects because shadow is part of the overall theme in this.
Yeah.
So there was 2 layers of different smoke, different shadows,
Mhm.
and then it finally gets put together.
Yeah.
And that is, well, right here.
Almost like you need no animation skills to do a comic book.
And interesting that you say that. The production of the Immortal Mask, the production of everything that's happening with Critical Blast, is literally duplicating the animation process into the printed format.
Yes.
So this is a hardcover, and then we have the 5x8 and the 4x7, all the same content. It's absolutely beautiful. Marvel pioneered the pocketbook with their stuff in the early 70s. The digest size, DC did the digest size in the mid 70s. Absolutely fantastic. The thinking has already been done, and we're just repurposing it. The one thing that they haven't done, and we're doing for the first time here with the Immortal Mask and everything that, through Critical Blast, is we're taking the same product, same book, and putting out multiple formats at the same time. This is a world first. It has never been done before. That's the crazy thing. People just shrug their shoulders, go, no big deal. It's a huge deal. Why? Because everything that RJ has put out through Critical Blast, everything that I packaged up and RJ's put it out into the market, everything sells. The pocketbook sell, the paperback sells, the hardcover sells. Every format sells. That's the crazy thing.
And the beautiful thing is as you can see, it's done.
Yeah,
it's done.
Yeah, it's all done. It's absolutely amazing. And also, by the way, we sweat over the details of every book that we put together because the covers are different scale, different sizes, and all that stuff. It's not a simple copy and paste. We take this cover, put it in here, or put it in here. No, this cover here is unique. Even though it looks the same, it's unique. The elements are repositioned. Here, the elements are repositioned again, and here the elements are repositioned. It ends up being the same thing, but if you look at it beside each other, you'll quickly realize there a bunch of the characters are not exactly where they are in here compared to here, and that's a level of attention to detail that is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. All right, that's the Immortal Mask inside the world. As we're doing the Critical Blast publishing, logistics, promotions, and just point out that the moment we start talking about Perfect 10, know where that origin came from.
Yeah, and we're kind of building toward that because you've seen a lot of books that RJ's wanted to do, and did. It was like, hey, we'll do an anthology. We'll collect some stories from people and pay them. We'll do some public domain fairy tales, which we don't have to pay anybody for. But ultimately, if you really want to get a book industry going, you can't do it all by yourself. Which means you're gonna have to start paying people. You're gonna start paying royalties to creators. And the first one to jump on board is Wayne Klingman, who's in our chat, Mr. Big 65. Wayne is a godfather of crime stories, true crime books. And he got started with us by letting us handle his the mafia in Hollywood. Now, this is, intended to be, it's a pocketbook size. It's intended to be the kind of thing you'd see at your supermarket checkout as an impulse buy, and it's a fun look at people getting killed, and it's all true. But it's a look at Hollywood and the influence that the mafia has had on the movie industry. And we were able to take these chapters, and we would get illustrations for them to make it a Critical Blast book. We like to illustrate our stuff. So
basically, the Monsters Next Door has been applied to Wayne's book.
Yeah. So, we'd find something of Joey Lewis, and we would do a black and white illustration there to look like the man. And, because we have a chapter dedicated to him, or Wayne has a chapter dedicated to him. All I was the editor on this. Lana Turner and Joey Stompanato, we, got pictures of them together. This is, it's pictures aren't necessary to get the context of a book, but they sure do help, especially when it's a picture of Ava Gardner.
Yep.
That's, chef's kiss right there. From there, we have done books with Wayne on the life and times of Frank Balistreri, the basically the godfather of Milwaukee, and the Buffalo Mob, which it touches on a current trial going on right now in Buffalo, New York. And we've been able to do that not only with these hardcovers, but with simultaneously released soft covers. We've got that motif already going for us. So, Wayne has been selling books consistently every month. I'm writing him checks every month. Sometimes they're not as big a check as I'd like to write him. Certainly not as big a check as Wayne would like to get, I'm sure. But
it's consistent.
It's consistent. And, Wayne knows that he's going to get a report from us every month, even if that report says, nothing sold this month. So far, that's never happened, but it could.
Show one of the insides of the hardcover, because we had to do spot illustrations just like Monsters and Fables and Grimm's.
Yeah, let's do that. Here's Peter Geraci and Michael Masikia as part of the Buffalo Mob story here. So we, when we had bio pages, somebody's going to be talked about at length. We got their picture in there. We have little body outlines on the pavement throughout. But yeah, we were, nice thing about mobsters is they've been arrested at some point, so their pictures are out there to find.
Yep.
And,
lots of mugshots.
Lots of mugshots to pull up. This one, of course, has a sample chapter of the next book we'll be doing for Wayne. This was when the title was still called Like an Onion, the Vegas Skim. We've since modified the chapter. We're going through and fixing up the footnotes right now, building that one up. It's going to be a great look at the mafia and the Las Vegas Skim. If you don't know what the Las Vegas Skim is, wait for the book and pick it up, especially if you're a true crime aficionado. These books, by the way, and all the books we're showing you are available for direct purchase through the Critical Blast Library. Yes, I know I made a big deal about how you can get them on Amazon, Walmart. Have I made that big deal yet? Really? Because here's the thing about all of our books. They're in the order catalog that any bookstore has. We are not just on Amazon. This is not KDP. So yes, we are on Amazon. We are also on Walmart. We are on Barnes & Noble. We're in Books A Million. We're in Powell's, that little shop that your grandma goes to get her paperbacks on the corner there because she does nothing but read all day. We're in that store. You go to that store, you say, can you get this book? They look it up. It's in their catalog. They say, yes, we can. It'll be here Tuesday. So important factor, I think you should all know. Now, that having been said that, you can still get them also on the Critical Blast website, which is linked below. Buy them direct from the printer, from the publisher. And that's only good for two things. One, U.S. residents. You have to be in the U.S. to order from that site. I'm currently going through there and putting Amazon buttons on there as I can so that international orders can also order from the website. Secondly, if you hit that direct button, that direct link button to buy direct, the creators, Wayne, all our other creators, they actually get a larger slice of the royalty because we cut out that middleman and the retail discount that they want to get, which is hefty, which is like over 50% discounted rate off of retail prices, what they get to get into these stores. That's what we sacrifice to get the books out distributed that way. So yeah, Wayne can get like $1.50 from an Amazon sale, or he can get $6 from a direct Ingram sale. So we started working with creators, and
lots of them.
Lots of them. And I said, George, we've been making books. We've been making books with illustrations. You know what they call illustrated books? Comics. Why is it that we've gone this long publishing, and we're both comic book fans, and we're working with indie comics people all the time, and we're not making comics. So we made comics. This is Tim Olson's Melvin. This is numbers 0 through 2. So these 3 issues here. Tim Olson crowdfunded all these books. We talked with him. We're like, what's happening with number 1? What's happening with number 2? Well, nothing. The crowdfunder's over. I'm on to number 3. We're on to number 4. Well, now all of Tim's books are living on in perpetuity and can be ordered and are being ordered every month from different venues around the world. Oh yeah. Did I mention that because they're on these sites, it's an international distribution chain? Did I mention that you don't have to pay to have your book in the distribution chain? You don't have to pay us anything. You give us your files, we set you a contract, you get paid. You don't have to ship your books. You don't have to inventory your books. You don't have to order a minimum of 200 books for your first order and then take care of fulfillment, or even have us take care of fulfillment. People order your book. Whoever they ordered it from fulfills your book. You get a check. First sale, first profit.
It's beautiful.
So if you are a crowdfunder, if you've been making comics and you've got, you're on your 3rd, 4th, 5th issue, and you're like, boy, that number 1 sale was sure great. Wish I could get that into, into something where I can make more money on it. Contact us and let us, put your floppies back out there. Now, floppies are fun. We all love floppies. I'm making a big old stack here because I've got a big old stack. I haven't even gone through all of it yet. But we've done something recently, which I'm actually giddy about this one. Because this pulls in a comic that I loved. We talked with Henry Vogel. If you don't know who Henry Vogel is, Henry worked with Comics Interview back in the 1980s and 1990s doing different comic books under their imprint. And through our conversations, we were able to collect and put together the aristocratic, extraterrestrial, time-traveling thieves, also known affectionately as X-Thieves. This is the complete series, the whole enchilada, this trade paperback. So, full size. Manga, full size. Look, still just this thick, just many pages. And oversized, 8.5 by 11 hardcover. All 3 versions. Cost to Henry? Nothing. All he did was give us the files. We cleaned them up. We processed them back to him, said, do these look good to you? He said, A-okay. And we turned on the distribution channel. These are available on Walmart. These are available on Barnes & Noble, Target. Any place that sells books, you can get this title. And, there's our back cover. It's got all the original covers on the front there. We even duplicated in the back here the letters pages that were part of the X-Thieves issues. It's all here. So we can do the
a snapshot of the early 80s in one
Yes.
collection.
Yes. But my point was that we can do your floppies and we can collect your floppies. So once you've done, a couple of issues and you're going to do you've got an arc completed, we can put that arc into a trade paperback, or we can put the entire series, if it's done, into an omnibus. Case of an arc, 2100 Samurai by Nick Gibson. First 2 issues of 2100 Samurai constituted an arc. Those 2 issues have been collected as a single book here, Big Trouble in Neo Detroit. So we, took a piece of key art. We made a whole new cover here with Nick's, assistance. George did all the work there. We got, the back cover here. Obviously our imprint. And black and white, 2100 Samurai story going throughout here. I'm talking a lot, George. I'm running out of breath.
You're doing just fine. Keep going. Keep going, man.
Save me. We did same thing. 2 issues of Grayscale. You might remember Grayscale. Beautiful full color illustration book here. We got, in touch with the creators. We said, can we do something with it? They're like, how much? We said nothing. They're like, yeah, I can afford that. So
Yeah, 4 years ago, Grayscale, it sat dormant for 4 years. After we had a meeting with them, it took us like 3 days to get this into the market.
yes. So we have hardcover, we have the 5x8, and we have the 4x7 on this one. We are currently working with the same creators, well, different creators, but I'll just go. Can I go ahead and say it, George?
Which the abductables?
Yes,
Yeah, no, that's legit.
it's legit. We are uploading it now for approval, and by the end of this week, you will be able to get the unredacted abductables, which collects both the abductables and the abductables reticulus into a single volume. And it'll be available just like this in multiple formats.
And with lots of extras.
Lots of like 160 pages.
232 pages altogether.
Of course, we haven't gotten out of the working for free stuff. There's a lot of public domain cartoon work out there that can still be touched on. And George found a lot of that with an artist named A.B. Frost, who had done some stuff at the turn of the century, the 20th century, over 100 years ago.
1903, 1902, 1901.
So what George did, So what George did was he said, let's take the art and redo the story, because these were strips, by the way. These were not a book, like a graphic novel was. The concept didn't exist in the 1900s. But
it was basically strips, panels, like you see in a newspaper.
Exactly, like an editorial cartoon.
Yeah.
So George took them all and sequenced them into a graphic novel, and we rewrote it. We said
modernized it. Modernized it.
Just look at the pictures and what are they saying that would be funny, and we just created our own new story using all of this dialogue. So this is, the adventures, the reimagined adventures of A.B. Frost's Carlo. There's raggedy little dog here that is adopted into a family and gets into all kinds of trouble. The reimagined adventures of A.B. Frost's Stuff and Nonsense. Again, just vignettes and panels.
This is my personal favorite, because we had to come up with poems for the entire book.
That's right. It's all in rhyme.
Yeah,
all in limericks.
Yeah, it's like we sweated over the rhyming and the poems and all that stuff.
Yes,
I've never written a poem or a rhyme in my life.
We came to blows on this sometimes. I'm like, that's not a rhyme scheme.
Yeah,
but it worked, and it is a brilliant book. A.B. Frost, the reimagined adventures of A.B. Frost's bull calf.
This book, I finally get it. It starts off with the sale of the calf, and everything else spirals from that moment in time.
Yes, it was. It may not have intended to do that, but basically George took all these disparate vignettes and threaded them into a single contiguous story.
Oh, and the punchline to the calf is I think the funniest thing you'll ever read.
I thought I enjoyed it. Now, of course, it took us this long for George to realize I can use this for my own stuff. So we started publishing, George's, job ads, Joe King, his own personal character.
This was sitting on Webtoons for 4 years. And said, okay, I'll take it off of Webtoons and package it up into a book.
Yeah, and of course George had also had
show the inside. Flip through one of them.
I'll pick the middle-sized one here.
Yeah,
it's full color panels, fully painted, digitally painted.
Okay.
Bright, brilliant colors.
All in the pocketbook size.
Well, this was actually the digest size. Pocketbook sizes.
Oh yeah, there's the pocketbook size. Yeah,
But, still just as readable, still just as bright. And of course, George had several floppies already existent. He took 7 of them and put them into a hardcover compilation here.
plus a shitload of extras. Those are the first 7 issues of the Black Diamond Effect, early '90s, and then a ton of extras after that.
Yes. So if you really want to get a history on George's work,
by the way, that book there shows off the first 7 issues of the Black Diamond Effect, which were vector format. Those comic books is first in history. They were all vector. They were not Photoshop. They were not scanned. They were vector. It was unheard of back then. Insanely. Oh, what do you got now?
Once we started getting comic books published, it was time to reach out to friends and neighbors who had done it. So I reached out to Rich Parada, who had done the Incontesti and had distributed through us, using the logistics connections with creators. I'm like, hey, you know me, we can talk, right? Yes, of course, RJ. So we took his first 2 issues of Incontesti, put it into a hardcover release. We put it into a softcover release too, I thought.
Yeah, it's there somewhere.
I don't even have a copy of every book we've done, but I at least have a copy of some format of every book we've done. So that's out there. Nano 13, we were distributing that immediately after distributing. In fact, not only did we distribute it, we printed the ones that were distributed. So now if you want to print your comic for Crowdfunder, you can go through us to print it. We'll get you the cost for printing, and notice that there's nothing on here that says Critical Blast. It's not there, because your Crowdfunder is your Crowdfunder. That's your special baby. We'll help you get that printed, with the caveat that we're the people who are going to distribute it for you. So, and then of course, by doing that, once the Crowdfunder is over, it makes it easier to transition it into the retail market. We just flip a switch and change the cover out, so it's something different than what you crowdfunded. And now it's a retail thing. And then that would have the Critical Blast logo here and a completely different back cover. So yeah, Nano 13, that was us. That was us from cradle to grave.
Show some pages inside.
Yeah.
There you go. Beautiful.
Perfect bound here. I'm ignoring the chat. I shouldn't do that. Oh, Sonoma Publishing is out there. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for popping in. There's definitely a lot of great public domain content. We're not done mining that particular pit. It gives me a great idea to public domain FOIA on, say, the CI. Okay, kick out the FOIAs. I'm too busy to do that. I don't know what to write. We published it to fulfill for crowdfunding, and then we published it into the retail market. Anna Folkenstall's Ghost Story, 3 volumes here of her manga, European manga. She's publishing out of the Netherlands. Send us her print files. We packaged it all together. Book 1, book 2, book 3. Crowdfunded it, fulfilled it. All 3 of these books are now available in all those markets, and we reproduced them from the manga size to the oversized hardcover for each issue. Those are out there. I'm waiting on my copies to come in, but they are orderable. You can get them now. They can be purchased through all those retail outlets, and of course on the Critical Blast website bookstore. You go to criticalblast.com. There's a tab at the very top. There's not many tabs. You can't get lost. It says bookstore. Go right to it, or you can hit the one on the YouTube version of this video right below.
You know, the crazy thing is that all these books, what do you call, carry no inventory. Every single one of these,
because I always have one of them.
Yeah, but it's just for a sample, to show off and stuff like that. It's It's the beautiful thing. The inventory does not exist, and it only exists when the customer buys it.
And so we started with books that were all words, and we added pictures. We said, let's have words and pictures and do comics. And then somewhere along the way, it was like, why are these words in the way? Let's just do the pictures. And that's when we decided we could do hardcover coloring books. Who's doing hardcover coloring books? We let George take the lead on this one because he's got so much art to play with from his library. So
yeah, and you have a bunch of the original art with you too.
I do, actually. It's all behind me here in a huge envelope.
Yeah.
We came up with a concept idea. Colors not included.
Flip it around. So
Flip it around. You see all the different pages in here. This volume 1 here.
That's half the pages, by the way.
Yeah, it's what, an 80-page book?
No, no, that's half the pages. Right, and on the back, we're only showing the right side of the pages.
Yeah. Right. So this is 50 pages here. It's 100 pages.
Yeah.
And the concept was, we're like, let's do comic book covers from an alternate universe. So none of these comic book covers actually exist, but if we were going to have comics, then let's. So we wrote the comic. We wrote the previews paragraph to describe what's going on in this issue, and a lot of the stuff is like in media res, where it's like, oh, if I'd been following this for forever, I would know exactly what's going on. And as we started doing it, was like, these are all in the same universe. Let's have a contiguous story going through it. So you'll start seeing elements pop up in other pieces of this that refer back to other books, and you can almost have your own little Crisis in the Black Diamond Effect kind of world happening in your head as you're coloring these pictures. Beautiful sci-fi babes. We did say we're doing a series. You can see it's a number 1. Number 2 just fell into our lap. Colors not included, the Steamboat Willie edition. And for this one, we took the original pictures from Steamboat Willie, and we were able to, that's not the best example. We laid them sideways, and then what we did was we're like, let's put the ship wheel here on the spine. So, you can turn the book this way and color it. You can turn the book this way and color it. And it's kind of fun because you're taking that ship steering wheel and you're steering the book around. All of these are, of course, the public domain mining concept. We're taking all those images that were there. George painstakingly went through the entire film, pulled everything out, got the line drawings from them.
Yeah, it's the first of its kind.
Yeah, you can do what Disney couldn't do: colorize Steamboat Willie.
Yeah,
because they didn't do it.
I love that line.
George has been throwing out the idea of Perfect 10 all throughout here, so we're going to end with that. Perfect 10. Dave Brink, Genuine Comics, Powell Roderick's art. We approached him about doing something with Perfect 10 because he's crowdfunding number 5 right now. Go out there and back that book. You'll love that book. What we ended up doing was we took the first issue of Perfect 10, and he wanted to do an artist edition. So this is the first of our artist edition. They'll all look like this, with the key art on the front. It'll be called Artist Edition. It'll have the layout that we've got here. So if you want to do an artist edition of one of your books, the groundwork has been laid. And what we did here, I'm going to find a good representative piece, because whenever I'm doing it upside down, it's always harder. So this is your true artist edition kind of thing here. You have the script, then you have anecdotes from both Dave and Powell about what was going on with the creation of the story here. You had the rough layouts, the pencils. You had the blue line with all the sound effects added, and then you have the full page, full bleed, printer's marks, everything on here. Everything's on here except the letters and sound effects throughout the entire first issue. But
for our first half of the book.
For the first half of the book. For the second half of the book, you get the full black and white with the sound effects and letterings, and the fully colored sound effects, lettered, everything on it page on the right. So you get side-by-side comparisons of each one, plus you get this full story twice. in black and white without letters, in black and white with letters, and in full color with letters. And then as we wrap up the book, you get more Powell Roderick goodness with several of the different pinups that he drew, again with the black and white, and then the full colored version off to the side. This was crowdfunded. We worked out a deal where we were able to send book plates to Powell for him to sign. So some people were able to get the signed edition. Some people got the unsigned edition. And in just a matter of days, you'll be able to get the retail edition because we just released it. Different cover. It's a black cover with the blue line artwork on the backside of it. It's releasing for $59.95, I believe, on retail outlets in America. So if you didn't get it from crowdfunding, you're going to have to pay more for it to get it, but you can still get it. And it is out there. And folks, we're talking with a lot of different people. People have seen what we've done, especially, more recently when we did the X Thieves that I showed you earlier. That has opened up a lot of doors. You're going to see a ton of really good nostalgic content come through our doors now. Books you're going to be like, I remember that book. I'm glad that's out there for me to buy again. I want a copy of it. We want to be the place where you get your copy.
Not only that, but aside on top of the books that we're packaging, repackaging, and all that stuff, RJ's got about 15 original books in queue in various stages of production, and I have about 60 books in queue, original books, in various stages of production. Yes. So we're either producing our own or we're repackaging customers.
You can see behind me here on either side of the Critical Blast lighted sign that we have up here, our graphic novel in process. Sensei Nosferatu Pak on this side, Fenton Elephant on this side. Both of those are in progress in parallel. They'll be released simultaneously with each other, and there's a real damn good reason for that. So you'll have to get both books to find out why. But there's a connection to them. And yeah, we're talking with people all the time. We have plans to work with creators you've heard of, and we would love to work with you. So if you have a book that you've done, you've crowdfunded it, it's out there, and now you're like, well, now what? What do I do with it now? You come to us with it, is what you do with it, and you let us make what George calls ancillary product. So yes, you can get the floppies reproduced through us and retailed. You can get the floppies compiled into a trade paperback and go through us. But you can also have us do things like pull key art out of it and make the next colors not included coloring book that would be your source of revenue on that. We can take a single piece of key art and produce, I don't know, how about a book that's nothing but blank ruled pages with your logo at the top, or a key art of yours running down the side, and just be like a journal or a notebook for back to school. Hey, look, it's the Black Diamond Effect Joe King notebook, and every time you're writing on it, there's Joe King waving at people. The possibilities are endless, and the cost to you is still nothing. Every book costs you nothing. George is going through the catalog right now. Thank you, George. I didn't bring it up. I was going to, but I just forgot. This is the link at the bottom of the page, of course. We've had this divided up into different kinds of genres. I think it makes sense. It still could be better ordered. You can see some of the books have an Amazon button, some don't. That's as I get to them and add them. You can see there are books that we didn't talk about because I don't have copies to show you yet. One of them being The Shadow Kingdom. This is from Russ Leach and Randy Zimmerman at Arrow Comics. We're the print publisher on this one. We printed the U.S. version for distribution, crowdfunding distribution, and now we have turned it over and done the retail release again in oversized softcover, 8.5 by 11 hardcover, and digest.
Yeah, this is the digest version. This is the softcover version, which has the same design as the hardcover.
Yeah, just the digest has a few more elements to make it more digesty looking.
Yeah,
a little bit more pulpish.
This book here, if people don't know, this is the book that started the whole sword and sorcery, Conan the Barbarian
Yes.
genre.
Yes, this is Robert E. Howard's story, and in fact, the Robert E. Howard story is included in here, unexpurgated and unabridged, as a backup to the story. So you get the comic book, and you get the actual short story that it was based off of by Robert E. Howard, and this is, of course, the kickoff for the Atlantean series, which Russ and Randy will be doing, featuring Cull. So this is the ground floor story setting for a new line of sword and sorcery comics that these guys will be doing. And guess who's going to be distributing them and putting them in the retail market? That would be us. So proud to work with Arrow Comics.
It's going to be it's going to be beautiful.
Again,
and of course the manga, the X Thieves, Bull Calf, Melvin, 2100 Samurai, a Black Diamond Effect collection, the Grayscale as well. Absolutely. Incantessi, job ads, stuff and nonsense. If you ever wanted to read a book that has humor and poetry, Stuff and Nonsense is the book for you.
Classic turn of the century art.
Yeah. And Carlo, absolutely beautiful.
We got young adult. I don't have copies of I do have a copy of this book. It's the very last book on my shelf now. We've been working with Radio Retro Future.
Yep, right there.
And now we published his book, which is a steampunk science fiction novel. He's done 3 of them. This is the first. This one was a challenge to lay out because of the way that the pictures interacted with the story when they are there, but they were important to the way things flowed. So we got this one done. There are 2 more that we'll be working on.
Yep, and they're in queue right now.
They are in queue. So the 3rd one's actually done. We're trying to get the 2nd one finished layout so that we can release in order. We don't want to release the 3rd one before the 2nd one's available. But those will be out very soon. And
well, finish showing the screen
I
share.
hit the wrong view there.
That's okay. The latest book that is there's a zombie in my closet.
That's on its way to me.
Yeah, hardcover, paperback, and digest. And of course, Brothers Grimm and the coloring books, and more coloring books coming, including the Immortal Mask coloring book. So it's oh, and by the way, because this is such a finely polished, oiled machine, from concept to execution, meaning retail, it's less than a week. Usually it's less than a week.
There have been exceptions, but
are natural disasters and wildfires.
Yeah, exactly.
And the post office using electric vehicle instead of gas vehicles.
Oh my gosh.
Don't
get me started on that.
All right. Well, that's everything. That's
okay. Now we talked about the publishing. Talk about the logistics.
Oh, the logistics. Everybody knows about the logistics.
Just give a brief overview of the logistics.
The logistics, which has become sort of a $150,000 a year business. That's the cash flow that's going through here. I'm so transparent with my numbers. It's amazing. Anybody wants to know what we're shipping, what it costs to ship your comic, ask me. I'll show you the spreadsheet. I brought it up before.
We talked about it during live streams.
Yeah, and you see down to the penny what everything costs, including what I get paid. So you want to know what it's going to cost to ship your book? The only question is, how big are your packages going to be? Whoa, came out wrong. How much does your book weigh, and what other things are you shipping with it? once we get all that put together, I can give you ideas. It's guesswork, because guess what? You're going to have a tier that's like, oh, they're going to buy these 2 books and it's going to cost this. But you can't control your customers. They're going to come back and they're going to buy another tier, and then they're going to add something onto it. And then you're going to have something that they're ordering altogether, which was not a tier you had at all and you're not prepared for. But, that's good. They still paid you money. We'll make it ship for what they paid you. You'll get, very detailed invoice that says, okay, you've sent me your books. Here is what they're being packaged in. You're going to see the poly bag they're going into, the Gemini that goes into the poly bag, the label that goes onto the poly bag, the tape that covered it all together, the handling charge, which I got paid, the postage for the weight, and you'll see the dimensions of the package, the weight of the package, and the total list for that package, summed down to the bottom, saying all these packages go for this much, and you pay, we ship, they're out the door. Everybody gets an email who ordered saying your package for this project in the email list is on its way. Here's the tracking number. And that's, the next day I get a bunch of emails saying, I've moved since then, because that's what people do. That's a whole different problem that we work out. But
All right. Nice.
we're very busy right now. We're wrapping up Exiled. We're wrapping up Fiendish 2.5. We're almost wrapped up with Hunt the Littlest Umbrella. We're working with Lunar Smoke and MILF Submarine. Yes, MILF Submarine, which is going to be a regular thing for us. So the Submarine Treehouse folks are going to be not only distributing through us, but they're going to be printing through us. So that's another one that we're going to be putting into our retail catalog and printing for fulfillment as well.
Cool.
I'm going to have to quit my job just because I'm not going to have time to do it.
Hey, and you have a warehouse too.
I have 4.
What? You doubled?
I have 3 small warehouses that I pay rent for, and then basically the entire substructure of the place where I'm at now is one big floor plan that's open, and that's just become warehouse prime.
Yeah.
All the work really gets done there because it's air conditioned, so it's a lot easier to work in, and it has a refrigerator in it with Dr. Pepper and Cokes and stuff.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing.
Soon you'll do like a big diamond distribution warehouse store, and be like, here's a 2-mile long factory with all these truckloads.
We might get there if but we'll grow there. We're not going to get a sudden cash influx from somewhere and just throw a warehouse down and then hope we fill it. That's just not good business. But organically growing as we have for the past, has it only been 3 years or 4 years since we've done the logistics? I think it's only been 3 years. We're in our 4th year now. So yeah, it's been a good run. We're 5 years into the publishing, but again, like I said, the first 3 years it was very slow going, just doing things as I felt like it, learning the business as it went along. And this has been the year when both logistics and publishing have just taken that J curve on the graph, where things are just going up in the air. We published 6 books in a 5-day period last week, and by the time that week was over with, we had published more books than there were days in the week. So,
yay! So what is it? We got like over 100 books now in the market.
I don't know if we have over 100.
Well,
you saw the catalog page.
Yeah, you take the catalog page and multiply it by 3, or actually 4.
No, because every entry on the catalog page has all the versions there.
Oh, yes, it does. Oh, geez. Now I have to click and go count. I forgot about it.
Over counted, but we'll be there soon. Because there's nothing that we published that's not on that catalog page.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Whew. They'll make calculating a lot easier.
Yes, all you gotta do is just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, exactly. Count by ones.
All right. Well, That's it. That's the show, folks. We are at Critical Blast on Twitter, which is on X, which is the best way to get a hold of us. So if you've got a book and you're wondering what else to do with it now, let us take care of it for you. And not only will we get your book out there, but we'll get multiple ways of profiting off your book to sit out there, and it's all passive income.
Yeah, and if anything, let us create a product off of your for your content. Hey,
Yeah,
why not?
Brand things with your content. That's what we're going to do. If it can be published, we can make it. So with that, George, thank you not only for coming tonight, but seriously, thank you for being there throughout the entire growth of this business, and for being there in the future as we take this to new places. George has new ideas all the time. In fact, he just threw one past me tonight that I'm still trying to digest. But it's what makes what makes us innovative. I've said before, the logistics business wouldn't have existed without George. The publishing business certainly would not have grown to where it is without George. So I'm just a puppet. I'm the other.
I should go on strike and ask for more money.
No, don't. Yeah, okay. You should definitely ask for more money.
I should go on strike like those dipshits in California.
Yes, or the ones in Chicago.
Oh yeah, that too. Chicago as well.
All right,
Already
Denali,
protesting. Yeah.
thank you for popping in here, man. Good to talk with you again. And give us some word on the Immortal Mask. When can people find that crowdfunder, and when can they expect to get their hands on it? Because everyone's seen it now. They're like, I want to get it.
Yeah. You can sign up for the Immortal Mask at Kickstarter.com.
No. Go to Denelli's.com.
Well, yeah, you can go to Denelli's.com, and the link for the Kickstarter is there. You have 10 pages to sample it. So I'm giving, free preview every time you go to my channel. If you want some merch, the merch links of the store is there, so you can get some merch as well. Some posters have been there, some cups are in there, some stuffs are in there.
Yep.
As for the Kickstarter, I'm trying to get people to follow. I got 20 people following the Kickstarter. Once I get to 100, I'll launch it.
All right. Well, everybody get out there and follow the Kickstarter. So because it's done. You've seen it, folks. We just want to get an audience moving up behind it here, and be ready to fund it once it kicks off. So with that.
Yeah, and you'll know that it'll be shipped because it'll be shipped by Critical Blast.
It will. We will be kicking it out. We will be kicking it out the door from Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Thanks for popping in and listening to me ramble and helping out. Everybody watching the stream, thank you guys for popping in. We don't have a show without you guys. We're just a podcast falling in the woods otherwise. So we need you here, and we're glad that you came. And as always, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night, everybody.